Okay, who is ready for, I gotta see everybody's faces. Okay, who is ready for week 3? Who has, how did everybody do this week? Does anybody want to share kind of what their week has been like? If they kind of, if they started to realize things, if they started to notice blocks, talk to me. Who wants to talk to me and tell me how their week was in regards to what we've been working on?
I will.
Okay.
I feel like my week was good. I feel like, so I'm lean more towards a thinker. So thinking and like daydreaming for me is not a thing. Like I don't do that.
Okay.
And so I've really consciously in like my downtime tried to put myself in my place, like in my dream future life, and daydream about what that looks like and feels like. And it's hard for me, but I feel like I'm going there easier now after working on it this week. And then I also feel like last week we talked about how my parents always said there's always going to be someone better than you. And working through that this week, like thinking, well, there doesn't always have to be someone better than me. I can be the best. Who's not to say that I deserve to be, like, I can work hard, I can be the best. And so I've been working on that this week, and it's hard.
It is hard. It's a process, a long process. And, but the first is recognizing it. I mean, that's huge, right? Because you've been carrying that without really giving it much credit for a long time. So it's not going to change over a week, but just knowing it and recognizing it and putting yourself in that spot to dream is so, so huge. Yay! Anybody else want to share anything?
I can personally say that I am a dreamer, but the thinker part of me has definitely risen, I guess, because I've had a little bit harder time daydreaming that particular life than I anticipated. So yes, it's a little bit more difficult than I ever anticipated.
So are you surprised? Like you thought you were just a dreamer, but now that you're digging deep into dreams?
No, I mean, I knew I had some of both in me.
Yeah.
But I guess I thought I leaned definitely more toward dreamer. And I definitely still do, but there's definitely some thinker in there.
Yeah. You know, and I think a lot of it, and we'll dig a little deeper into this, but I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but most of us have kind of a block to allowing ourselves to just sit and dream, right? Like as moms, we feel like we need to, or just as women, or work, like we just go. We feel like we need to be busy, you know, whether you want to call it the hustle or busy or whatever you want to call it. We kind of pride ourselves on how much stuff we get done every day and all the different, you know, activities and everything that's happening. And we don't take into consideration, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is we've kind of always thought of it as a negative thing to just sit and daydream, to like just take time out to just go, what do I want? Like, what makes me so happy? What would I love to do? And that was a huge thing with my one-on-one coaching with Sarah. When we started working on the hustle, part of her Hustle, Believe, Receive program is recognizing that the hustle doesn't have to mean like I've reached out to and contacted 20 people today and I followed up with 5 team members and I, you know, worked for 6 hours. The hustle incorporates everything. And sometimes that means like sitting down and like looking on Pinterest or, you know, watching a documentary about a place that I want to go to and kind of imagining myself there and realizing that part of the hustle is to slow down and put myself in my dreams so that then I can come back and go, this is why I'm working hard. Because if we just work, we forget and don't take the time to, you know, dream. Does that make sense? But I think too often we have, that's a negative thing, to sit and daydream. Like, I mean, teachers have been saying it for years, getting on to children for daydreaming in class, right? Like, it's just never received a good connotation, daydreaming. So I like that. Anybody else want to share anything from this week?
Well, sometimes when you were saying what you were saying, sometimes we have not allowed ourselves to dream for so long that we don't even know how or what that looks like. So when you said that, as far as watching documentaries about places that you want to go, because sometimes we don't even know what that looks like. You know, there's no way that you can dream about it if you don't have any idea.
Correct. At 100%. 100%. Because you can be watching a documentary or reading a book and then be like, oh, I have to go there. Like, I want to see that. I want to go there. So allowing yourself that freedom is really, really good. All right, Tiffany Johnson, you have anything?
So, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm technical difficulty. You know, I've been still having a hard time with my dreams and coming up with them. But what I have realized is being able to sit down, like you said, daydreaming is bad, and I don't do that. I don't really do that. And so saying that, I was like, you know, that, yeah, daydreaming isn't bad. And this week has been really kind of a lot of me thinking of, what do I want to do in my life? And thinking of experiences. I usually am pretty good about thinking of experiences, because I'm like, my experience is I want to go have a massage on the beach in Hawaii. Like, I mean, I want to go skiing in the Alps. I mean, you know, the experiences I can usually come up with, but I have a hard time expanding on my dreams. So yeah.
Nope. That makes sense. And probably that comes from not spending enough time in your dreams, right?
Oh yeah. Well, and I realized that I put my dreams aside. Like I stopped dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I was practical when I went to grad school and got my physical therapy degree, but I don't know that was a dream. But it was what I wanted to do. And I put my dreams aside, and I just don't do it because, and I was going to share on last week's call, but I couldn't because I couldn't stay on. But that one of the reasons I felt not worthy is because in freshman year of high school, we were in our peer groups of like the intro to high school type thing. And everyone's like, oh, what's your dreams? What's your dreams? And my dream was to become a mom. And immediately the peer leaders said, that's not a dream. We're talking about like be a basketball player for the NBA, you know, like that. And they said, that's not a dream. And I was like, why not? And it shot me down and made me feel not worthy. And so since then, I don't really dream. I don't really dream.
That makes perfect sense. And I think all of us probably, if you really trace it back, I feel like it happens somewhere between 12 and 16, maybe 11 and 16, when we stop dreaming. When somebody says something to us, like we say, I'm gonna, and people are like, you might want to rethink that. And even if at that time it was an impractical dream, the fact that somebody shot us down and let us know that our dreams, like we wouldn't be able to do that, created doubt. Like once somebody shoots down one of your dreams, then you immediately have doubt about everything else, and you start second guessing everything else that you come up with. And it's typically around that age. You guys all kind of think, yeah, Debbie?
I have physical proof that I used to be a dreamer. I have a report card that says, Debbie has trouble concentrating in class. She daydreams too much.
And it was a negative thing, right?
Oh yeah,
It was
that
attached to not
negative. Oh, it was
concentrating.
totally negative.
Yeah.
So proof that I used to. Now to remember how.
and it's hard because you've not for a long time. So this week we worked on experiences over things, right? So this is really, and she talks about this in the book, but this is really where we really are starting to, hopefully by now, you're starting to really differentiate how this future board process truly is so much different than a vision board, right? Like, we're digging deep. We are not flipping through magazines and going, that looks cool. I want that. That looks fun. Let me go there. Like, and then cutting it out and sticking it on a board. Like, we are digging deep into what we want to do. So here's the thing is, for me, at least, my whole life up to this point, and tradition pretty much for most people says you work super hard so that you can this thing, whether it's a vacation or buy a house or buy a car or adopt a baby, whatever it is, right? You associate, you have to work super hard so that you can have this one thing. And then you do that, and then you work super hard to get your next thing. Well, that's not living a life just in true happiness, right? That's not, you're not building your life around your happiness. You're just working hard, because whether you are so passionate and so in love with your career or not, especially most of us at this age, like, well, there are other people in this group besides you, Erin, who work full-time. So I'm going to go ahead and say this because I feel those of us on here don't work full-time in a traditional job, but you work. There comes a point when the income you're earning for doing what you do, like, what else are you going to do? Like, you look at like other things. Well, I would like to maybe do this, but we can't go without this money. Like, you're not making that shift because this is what you've been doing for so long. Like, if Rob came home all of a sudden and said, I think that I want to, I don't know, I want to be a professor. Awesome. Like, I super support dreams, but who's going to pay the bills? Like, like, I'm not really sure that's a super good idea. And I'm all about people dreaming. Like, there has to be a real process, but I know for a fact, and I'm glad that he likes his job, but I know for a fact he goes to work every day so that he can pay the bills and I can plan something for the family. He's not in that dreaming mode. And that's what I'm trying to help us move towards, is kind of just dreaming up a life that makes us so happy and then working our way into it. But it's a process. So I feel like, who had no problem writing their live list all the way through? Was everybody able to just jot down 25 things? Or did you write like 5 to 10 and then go, oh? Tiffany?
I will say it's very hard for me to concentrate on what my dreams are. Like, I want to give my husband his dream, and I want to give my kids their dream. It's very hard. It makes me feel selfish to pick things that are truly just my heart heart's desire. It's very hard.
It is hard, right? So which block is that?
Low-key martyr.
Low-key
And
martyr.
not worthy.
And I'm not worthy, because you don't feel like you deserve these dreams that are yours. But you're comfortable and happy to work extra hard to help your kids and husband have what they want. But you don't feel like worthy enough to do everything for you, unless everything they have is fulfilled. And then you can have something, right? So that's us. That's just, I don't want to say women, because I don't want to, like, you know, stereotype or anything, but it's super duper common. We have kids, we have spouses, we just do for other people. So I appreciate that, because that was super hard for me. I think it's probably hard for everybody. So here's why we do this, because you have to feel it before, you have to dream it up, and then you have to feel it, and you have to emotionally buy into these things that you want. So it may really take time, before you look at these things and go, it just takes practice. Like you said, Tiffany, like you have to take time to stop and dream. You have to go, okay, what is my dream? What do I want to do? What's been fun about my future board is that when I finally did it, and I did it all for me, and you guys know it's up here on my wall, my family has bought into it. The girls would come in here this summer and go, what is that? I want to do that. So whereas before I would do things that they wanted, I did everything I wanted, and they are bought into it. Almost everything on this board, like there's a picture up here. I don't know if you guys all know, you may know, that we still have the Volkswagen that I got for my 15th birthday, which is a 1969 Volkswagen Bug convertible. My dad kept it in them for my 40th birthday. Rob shipped it to Tennessee, and then it stayed in our garage, and we never restored it. Now it's in storage in Nashville. So I pay $250 a month, which is literally like a low car payment to store a car that has not been restored, because I'm not willing to get rid of it. Well, also here we have Rob's 1989 Bronco, which he doesn't drive. So we pay, because we have 3 cars here, $100 for our third parking spot for a car he doesn't drive. So we pay $350 a month plus insurance for cars that we don't drive. But on my future board, I literally have my exact car refurbished on my board. And when my husband saw that, because it's kind of been a battle, you get rid of your car. No, you get rid of your car. You get rid of because, it's who, neither one of us need either car, but it's an emotional attachment. And it's kind of been this unsaid battle of we shouldn't be spending the money on either of them, but neither one of us is willing to get rid of them. And when he saw that on my board, I think it shifted him of oh, it really is important to you to get this done. Whereas his is not. He just thinks it's a fun man type car that fit him perfect in Tennessee. But I'm not lying. I live in Fort Lauderdale, and nobody is driving a beat up 1989 Ford Bronco. In Mount Juliet, everybody stop him at the gas station and, cool Bronco, dude. In Fort Lauderdale, nobody is stopping him saying cool Bronco when he drives it. So it just sits in the garage. So he has bought into that. Andrew comes in all the time and talks about one of these spots, one of the vacation spots I have. They will buy into it. Give yourself these dreams, and then let them buy into your dreams. It's really empowering. You'll be shocked when you get selfish about what you want, and then your loved ones look at it and go, and they start wanting, because here's the thing, our spouses, they want us to be happy. they want us to have what we want, but we often don't say what we want. Like, yes, I write a Christmas list and a birthday list. I want these material things, and I get them. But we don't often talk about our dreams. We may talk about how our day went, but when you create this and your spouse looks at it, they're gonna buy into it, and they're gonna want to help you and support you in what you want. I truly believe that. That's not in the book. That's just my personal experience. And I would love for you guys to try it and tell me that it worked for you too, because I really do think that it will. So you got to feel it, and before you can see it. So how do you do that? We have to focus on our experiences. So she talks about in the book, and here's where you have to dig deep. You have to just dig deep. We've talked about this before, but like, I've set up a $2 million trust fund for you, and you have to spend it all on experiences. Now, I know that if you want to go to Australia with your family, you got to buy plane tickets, or you got to rent a private plane. Like, I know you have to spend money on those type of things, and you have to spend money on a place to stay there. But it's not like, hey, my kids are really struggling and I'm going to buy them a house. Or my parents took such good care of me, I'm going to buy them a house. Or my brother's car. We're not doing that kind of stuff, right? We're only doing experiences for us. So were you guys able to do that? Is anybody want to share kind of some things on their live list or what that looked like? You guys are being quiet while I'm letting the dog in. Okay. Here is.
I've got one.
Okay, tell me.
So it does not require money, not in a physical sense, I guess. I mean, it does, but my husband and I, and yes, it includes him, but one of our big things is we would love to hike the Appalachian Trail the whole way through. And, you know, definitely don't have to have money for, you know, hotels or things like that, but, you know, you can't just put your job on hold for 6 months to go do it. So
Yes, and you have to have gear, and you have to eat
Yeah.
along the way. Like, it costs money to do that. And probably your biggest holdup from doing that is what you just said. You can't not work for a few months,
yeah,
right?
absolutely.
You just can't. And it's funny you say that, because it just brought back a memory. My ex-husband has a brother, and we've always just kind of, it's just been jaw-dropping to watch him. But now that I'm doing this, and you just said that, is what made me think about, because he did that. But he has lived his whole life. He's probably, let's see, he's probably 36 or 37 now. He literally has lived his whole life like working so that then he can do something huge. So for instance, he worked on like a, what are those? They're like on Discovery Channel or whatever, like the boats, like the world's deadliest catch. Like on those boats where like people die on those fishing boats, whatever they're getting lobster or whatever. But he would do that for 6 months. And of course they're not spending any money because they're on the boat or whatever. Save all his money and then go hike the Appalachian Trail. Then like not work at all. Like we always were like, go to school, like get a job. And now I'm thinking he had it right all along. Like he would work something so that was not a locked in thing. That was a contract type basis. And then go do that Appalachian Trail or go do like, then he like worked some kind of job again. And then like went and like lives in India for a few months. Like he is seeing the world in order to like do what he wants. Does that make sense? Like that never would occur to me. Like, let me go do this crazy job and save up all my money so that then I can go do this amazing once in a lifetime opportunity. And let's be honest, the jobs he's doing are once in a lifetime opportunities. Debbie, what were you going to say?
So the live list, is that this 25 things that we wrote out that was not goals, just
No goals, just experiences. Yeah.
Okay.
That was your question?
Had to make, she didn't call it a live list in the, so that's why I had to clarify to make sure that I'm on the right page.
Gotcha. I'm sorry. So
No, it's okay. It's not.
she,
No, I'm just making sure I'm on the right page.
yes, I think, in the book, at one point, it's more like a bucket list that she calls it, because that's traditional. Here's her point in switching it to a live list, just because I've had personal conversations with her. She switched it to a live list because she said she feels like bucket list is a list people slowly make of things they're going to do like once they retire. And why wait so long? Why wait until your joints are achy, until you can't hike the trail, until it's uncomfortable? Like, make this a live list, things that you're doing while you're living and while you're healthy. I will tell you, there was a convention, and it happened to be, it's every year in April that Rob and I always go to for his work, but this year it happened to be in Fort Lauderdale, and it happened to be like the week after we bought his Porsche. And one of the older men that he's known, for 15 years came up to him, and said, I saw your car outside. It's beautiful. I'm so proud of you. And Rob's like, Rob was still, those of you that have known me a long time, like I went and bought this car, and he was like, I like my Kia. I'm fine with my Kia. And I said, but you've always wanted a Porsche, and we've got this super great deal, and we're getting it. And so he doesn't spend money, and it makes him a nervous wreck. And he was really a hot mess about it for a while. So this man who's like 75 comes up, and he said, you remember about 6 years ago, or Rob said, he said, how is your Ferrari? Because the guy's telling him how much he likes his Porsche and whatnot. And Rob's like, well, you still got your Ferrari? How is that? And he took Rob by both arms, and he says, my only regret with buying my Ferrari is that I could have afforded it 20 years earlier, and I didn't. And now it takes like our grandson to help me and my wife get in and out of it. Do I love driving it? Yes. But at 70 something, it's really hard to get into, like my mom can barely get into the Porsche because it's so low. So he said, my regret is not doing it 20 years earlier when I had the money, when I thought it was just more important to save or whatever. He goes, do these things. You don't know how long you have. You don't know what your health is going to look like. If you have it, like, and then we're not saying like, don't save, don't take care of yourself, but you know what I mean? Like, do these things, do these fun things. Like, what are you putting it off for? Like, Cassidy said, well, you need to save so you can leave some of your money to us. And I was like, sister, you need to have a job. Like, if you're waiting for me to die until you can have some money, we're in trouble. Because Daddy and we're going to be having all the fun. Like, we'll take care of us and we will take care of you through college. But girl, don't be waiting on your inheritance. Where on the flip side, my husband's family, who is extremely wealthy, are not giving it all. With like, Rob will literally get like a pair of socks for Christmas. And we're like, you own like 30 homes. And you just gave your only son a pair of socks for Christmas? It makes no sense in my mind. And so we just kind of joke like, one day we're going to have a crap ton of money and a crap ton of houses and buildings and whatnot because of everything that they own in Mount Juliet. My husband's like, when you're 55, you're going to have to get your real estate license because we're going to inherit a ton of homes and commercial buildings. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do that till I have to. But it's like, why not share now? Like, why not like go travel? Like, pack up your grandkids and travel if you have the money. But so we're talking about us because I don't know that any of us on this call have so much money that we could just be like, hey kids, let's go to Greece. So that's why we're working on our live list with no goals. So is there any confusion about goals and your dreams experiences?
No.
Is everybody good there?
Yeah.
We're good. Okay.
I liked how she said it has to be something you would take a picture of yourself doing. That helps me keep it in perspective. Like,
Right.
can I take a picture of myself there or doing that?
So,
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go, Debbie.
no, go ahead.
I was going to say another thing. I don't know. Did she say it in the book or did she say it on a call with me? She might have. You guys may have already heard this, but something she said to me, something I recall from Sarah is, when you're dreaming it up, picture your entire Instagram stories pictures. You know, if you use Instagram stories and you're constantly putting stuff from your day, like when you're dreaming up things, imagine yourself and whoever's with you, what your Instagram story is going to look like that day or that week when you're doing that. Like, be there. What's it going to look like? What's it going to feel like? What were you going to say, Debbie?
Oh, no, I just was going to say, so instead of a goal of like having a new car, like I considered that a goal.
Yeah, because you can earn a certain amount of money and then go.
Yeah, so mine was I want to enjoy the feel and smell of fine leather seats in my new car.
Yes.
So that's more of an experience because
That's your experience. Like, what will it feel like when I'm driving down the road and I'm at a stoplight and somebody looks over at me and gives me a thumbs up or smiles because they like my ride? Or yes, what will it feel like? Like, what will, what would it feel like to take a road trip in your new car with your husband? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So it can be a thing, but in your dream, when you're feeling it, it needs to be, because a goal is like you went and you bought a car. Like, that's one picture on Instagram, maybe two. Got my new car. It's cool. People like your photo for a day and then that's over, right? But an experience is all the different things that you're going to do in your car. Another goal, another one where it can be tricky, but you can use this. And so this is how, I don't know if this will make sense to you or not, but a marathon. So at the end of the day, running a marathon is a goal. But if your focus is like what it feels like to finish, who's going to be at the finish line? How is your family going to support you during the months of training? Picturing exactly who's at the finish line. What are they doing? What are you doing after? What are you doing before? All of that, like really digging deep into what the whole experience of doing a marathon is, then that's an experience. Just writing down there running 26.2 miles, that's a goal. That's a goal that you're probably going to set a date to, right? Because that's the other thing. Once you write these and we put them out into the universe, the hard part is attaching no timeline to it. That's what we do, right? We're like, I want this by then. And then what happens when we don't get it?
Oh, we're done.
We failed, right? Like another little check, like, check, didn't do that. So a huge part of this is no timeline. Just dream big. Here's my other suggestion. When you think of a dream, Kardashian size it. I don't know if that's a verb. I made it up. But does that make sense? Like, when you think of your dream and you're thinking of you guys doing this, Kardashian size it. Or Real Housewives of New York City size it. Like, you're thinking about going to Australia on a trip. How would they do it? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, dream, give yourself credit by literally saying, how would Kim Kardashian do this trip? I want you to have permission to take it like to the nth degree. Because why limit yourself?
Because I don't know any better.
because you don't know any better. And because anytime you've done it, people have told you it's a little ridiculous. Or who do you think you are? Or shouldn't you spend your money doing something else? Or all of those things. Or
Oh,
just
yeah.
believe that you would never have enough money to do that. Right? Like that's
I think that we get caught up in the shouldn't you spend your money on something else mentality. I see it all the time in social media where a certain person has done something and then all the doubters will say, well, what about all of the people suffering in such and such a place? Wouldn't they have been better off with that? And I think we get caught up with that. I think that's a very valid point.
100%, 100%. And so that's where we start to shake off the judgment of others, which is probably the hardest thing to do. Once you get past your unhealthy relationship with money and what you can do with it and how much you deserve of it and how much the universe actually wants you to have of it, then you have to let go of the judgment of what anybody else is going to think of what you're doing with your money. Right?
That's hard. That's a hard one for me.
That's the hardest thing I went through with my work with Sarah. Remember when I had that emotional detox and I blew up like a Oompa Loompa? I don't know if you remember that a few months ago.
Yeah.
That was me when she worked through one-on-one with me, finding out where that judgment came from and figuring out how to let it go. It was the hardest thing I did with her and absolutely the very best thing I did with her. Has changed my life. I don't really, you know what? I'm always going to do good and kind things for others. I'm always going to serve where capable. I'm always going to provide when I can. But that doesn't mean all these things that I want are off the table. If I buy this Lamborghini Urus SUV that I want, and you're going to judge me like I should have fed, 400 homeless people instead, okay, that's okay. If I get that Lamborghini, guess how hard I worked for that? Really hard. And I get to do whatever with my money. And I'm going to do good things, but I'm also going to do things that make me happy. And I'm not going to worry about what other people think. That's hard, right?
Oh, it's
hard.
It's incredibly hard. Well, okay. So scenario for my situation. Let's say I do, so let's say I'm earning an income of, let's say 20,000 a month. So I'm exceeding my needs. Okay. Far exceeding my needs.
Far exceeding your needs. Yep.
But I have kids that are barely able to pay their rent. I have kids that are not able to work because they can't get transportation to somewhere. There's my struggle.
Okay.
That's my struggle. My struggle is how does that, how does me going on a $30,000 vacation while they're struggling make sense in my brain?
Okay. Let me ask you this. How do you think is the best way that you can help one of your kids? Let's just in your mind, have one of your kids in your head that really needs a lot of help. How do you think you can best help them?
Well, I know it's not doing things for them, but probably giving them skills to help themselves.
So, yes. And so helping them, I mean, that has been my thing, because I want to give my kids everything. And mine aren't at the point where yours are, where they need a ton of help yet. But my goal in earning, hopefully one day, multi-millions of dollars a year is that if one of my kids comes to me with a business idea or something that they really want to do that I can invest in and support them in doing that, then I can say, here you go. You've put a good plan together. I like your action steps. You've done a lot to get to this point. I will invest in that. On the flip side, also, like in the aspect of the car, I'm with you. Like Isaac's car is a piece of crap right now, and I really just want to go get him another one. Like it just went into the shop, and everything they wanted to be done, Rob said it's not worth that. You're just going to have to drive it till it dies. My mama's heart wants to get on Rob's website and find a really great deal on a used car, because we get great deals on cars, and pick something up for him to have at Christmas. Right? Like that's what I want to do. I want to call his dad and go, okay, I found this car. It's going to be $250 a month. I'll pay $125. You pay $125. And his dad will go, okay. And that's what I want to do. But, and I probably, when he needs a car, that's what I'm going to do. You know, that it is. So like if you have children who are doing their very best, but they really need a usable car to get a step up. Like, I think what you do is you talk about, like, what does that feel like? You know, it's not you'll have to write down, okay, why am I doing this? And what expectations do I have from them? And how can this help them? And what have they done up to this point to deserve me still helping them, even though they're older? Does that make sense? Like, I'm not saying don't help your kids. I am not off the table. I'm just saying.
Tiffany would understand what I'm talking about, because I have some that would take and take and take and take and take and not give back, and not try to give back. That would give excuses as long as the day is long, you know, for why they can't do certain things.
Yeah.
I
So
think the other thing, just really quick, what that you're talking about, Mom, is that it's not even about helping them. It's about showing them that it's possible. Like, that's a whole nother flip side, is rather than give them what they think they need.
mm-hmm.
Why don't
Just
you
helping them see the possibilities.
show them what's possible?
Yeah. Helping them see what they, you know, maybe instead of, you know, giving them stuff, you say, you know what? I've signed you up for one-on-one coaching with Christy. She's going to help you work through what you're going through, what's happening. That's what I think my greatest gift to my children will be, is showing them what's possible out there in the world. And some will take advantage and some won't. I mean, Tiffany.
No, I think that's part of my vision is being able, a lot of that is what's holding me back. That's what's holding me back, because I, as a parent, as a mother, can't be extravagant in my dreams if I have loved ones suffering. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And maybe we need to do a one-on-one call on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Erin, were you going to say something? I know Erin and Tiffany both unmuted.
So I was just going to say, you know, clearly I do not know her situation. I don't need to know, but sorry, are you guys there?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was getting a phone call. So I can personally say my sister-in-law, unfortunately, she's very much a taker, and my in-laws have given and given and given, and they've never taught the skills. They've never done anything like, hey, this is what you need to survive. And so as I do this, I kind of laugh, because I'm like, oh, this is my in-laws. They don't get to live their dream life, because they've spent everything
Taking
giving
care
to their daughter. Yes. And so, not saying don't take care of them ever, but I hate to say it, the way I see it, I'm not a mother, and I know this, but I think she may need to hit rock bottom so that she can say, okay, I've hit rock bottom. I've got to learn how to crawl out of it.
Yeah. Which is hard. I'm not going to say it's not hard, Debbie, but, you know, Erin's perspective of not knowing anything or anybody is But we'll do a one call, Debbie. Sign up in my link and let's get on a call, you and I. Tiffany Johnson, what were you going to say?
I think it's important what you had said, Christy, about letting them buy into your dreams. And as an adult children type thing, that's going to be a different picture than like younger kids, because them seeing and being a part of what you're dreaming can help them see that they can dream. And I mean, I guess I'm in a similar situation to Erin. My sister has no dreams. Her dream got destroyed because she failed out of her PhD program and can't do that. So she has no dreams. And it's been hard for me to watch her not have a dream and not have a focus and not have goals in life and not have anything. I mean, if she does, she doesn't do anything to express them or them or whatnot. And I don't want my parents to help her. They are, because I think it's crippling her. It's keeping her from being the adult. The tricky part is she's an adult, and the choices that she makes are on her. They're not on me. I try to encourage and to talk and to coach her through Dave Ramsey. And to, I tried to offer these things, and she wouldn't take them. She won't run with them. But my hope is, and my prayer is, that her seeing the dreams, seeing how I'm living, setting up my life and moving forward, and talking to her about my dream board and saying, yeah, this is totally what we're going to do. I'm going to be making this much money, and then it doesn't matter that, we can spend a month going wherever, things like that. Like sharing that with her so that she can kind of catch the bug. And hey, if you ever want to hear about it, I've got my friend Christy. She coaches people on how to come up with these to change your life. So you can focus on this. But I think that's important. They're adult. In most cases, they're going to be adults, and their choices are on them. The only thing I do is, especially as a mom, is to say, you can choose what you want to do with your life and your dream. Why not make it?
Yeah. No, I think that's good. Okay, I actually have to end the call because I have another call in 3 minutes, but I want to say, here's the $1 million question, and it says it in the book, but what do you want? Like, what do you want? And we've talked about how hard that is for us because we dream about what everybody else wants, and we want to help those closest to us and those that we love. But really dream about what do you want, what will make you happy. Write it out. Write out what your ideal life looks like. And I will just tell you, manifesting comes in stages. You guys have all been super busy today, so you probably didn't see the Facebook post that I made right before I got on here, but check it out. I know it truly, manifesting comes in stages. Trust it, but you have to put it out there. And you have to be ready for opportunity. So have an awesome Thanksgiving. Thank you guys for jumping on here. I know this is like, holiday weeks are the worst, but I love that we're going to have this done before you guys are digging deep into all of your New Year's stuff. So thank you guys.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving, you guys. Bye.